Everybody, welcome back to Rivals on the Pitch, episode 10. Those of you who have been sticking around with us, we appreciate you. But if you could do us a favor and share this podcast with one of your fellow Premier League fans, so they can hop on. Especially if you're a United fan, we need someone out here so we can do some dialogue. Anyways, we have a good episode today. I'm feeling good. Spurs are feeling good. Randy's feeling good, right?
Of course, always feeling good.
And
who's the third member?
Pat, how are you doing over there?
I'm actually feeling good too.
He's still over there playing defense with Arsenal. Hey.
Oh, please.
All right.
The team that only this past season learned how to attack.
Oh, God.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's go.
So happy 10th episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we made it.
Anniversary.
And everyone in the comments was saying, you'll never make it.
You'll never sing that? 10 episodes, you'll never sing that?
They're probably Manchester United fans.
If you want to share us, with some fans out there, make sure you tag us. We're not afraid. Tag a United fan. We'll have some dialogue with them. I'm actually kind of interested to see what they think.
I am too.
And what they really feel, about the situation they're in.
Right.
Yeah, but if they win, then we'll hold off.
Yeah.
We gotta wait till they lose, and then come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have to be in a good mood for them to come on.
If we all three lose, then we can't. We'll have to hold off.
Show's canceled.
So while we're on the subject, let's take a look at this Manchester United game. So I was actually on the train coming home from the city, and I was watching this attentively on my phone. And in my opinion, it couldn't have been a more boring game.
Until the last quarter of that match. Yeah, you're right.
It would just seem like neither team looked like they wanted to win it. You would think that Crystal Palace, keeping as they would have a better attack, but it seems like that they're falling short now. And those moves in the summer, it wasn't enough. And on the other hand, Manchester United, you'd think they would be in a better spot by now. Yeah, it's just disappointing.
Remember, you got to trust the process, and it's going to take long. That's all we're hearing all the time. Trust the process. We need time.
And it's true. You should trust the process. But when you don't know what direction that process is going in, and when there's no definitive identity that they're trying to create, it gets difficult because it's like we mentioned before. I think Pat mentioned this. It's like, does Ten Hag even know what identity he even wants for this team?
He can't even explain it when he's being questioned about it. He's just, there's no certain thing.
The only thing that I've heard from him specifically talking about tactics is that he said he wants to be the best transitional team in the league. That's probably their worst part.
That's a great transition from Manchester United winning a lot of trophies to now losing. That's a great transition there, but that's not the transition I bet he wants.
They're a comfortable out of the top 4 team.
Yeah, I think so. It's too big of a club to be sitting down there. I feel like I can't say much, but yeah.
Era's come to an end. So
and they were close to losing this game.
Who said that? I bet.
I wonder. But nah, man, I just you can't. I mean, that was just it was unimpressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Considering Crystal Palace the team that they are, I feel like they could have had better attacks. They could have gotten the better of Manchester United. Manchester United having the team that they have, they should have overpowered Crystal Palace. I just feel like it could have gone either way. You would have been like, yeah, I could see that coming. But a 0-0 draw was just like, I don't know, just like, well, what's happening with both of these?
Eze missed. I was watching the game, and I won't say it was a sitter.
Oh yeah,
but he just went right with it when he should have gone far left and probably out of Onana's reach. And I was expecting the net to move. I was like, oh, where is it?
And I saw that one of the chances came from a shot from Eddie Nketiah. When I was just like watching, I was like, where was this guy all of like last season for Arsenal? I know he didn't get a lot of playing time with Havertz taking over. Even Jesus didn't get a ton of playing time, but I was just like, wow, that caught me by surprise. At the same time, teams, as you know, when you play a bigger team, a lot of these teams are going to sit back and defend a lot. So sometimes you don't get those chances that you do playing in a smaller team like Crystal Palace, where the bigger teams will give you a little bit more freedom. Yeah, just aside from that, I feel like I probably can't remember any other highlight.
Yeah, it's just like for me, it was just like that double save by Onana, but that was it that I can think of. I mean, it was a great save for him. I mean, we always he's a joke most of the time, but he did that great save. But still, like he even said, that save doesn't matter because we didn't win the game.
Exactly.
I mean, I sort of like that mentality. I sort of like that saying. It shows,
Yeah, true, true.
but you need to win. But there's only so much the goalkeeper can do. That is where you have to rely on the transfers you spent so much money on Bruno Fernandez. All these top players that you're supposed to rely on. They ain't showing up, and you're supposed to show up against Crystal Palace, I believe.
I have a question for you guys because I know Bruno Fernandes just signed a new contract with Manchester United. Before this happened, I just kept waiting the last 2 years and thinking, is this guy gonna end up getting like tired of playing at Manchester United and end up going to some other team? Like I could have seen, and I know it's not necessarily a bigger team, but I could have seen like Newcastle making some sort of surprise move for Bruno Fernandes or him ending up at not Arsenal, but you know what I mean. Like I could have seen him swapping sides, he's just getting tired of this. But he signed a new contract, and here's my question: I guess if you were to have left instead of signing that new contract, do you think he would rather stay at Manchester United because he's got a basically set starting role in the team? I know he's the captain, so he's more involved than just his technical ability. He captains are supposed to play a role on the field, so. But do you guys think that he's not considered moving because he doesn't feel like he would be that big name kind of symbol for a different club? Or do you think that he just really enjoys playing at Manchester United?
I think it has a lot to do with his position with the club right now because I don't know what team he would move into and have that same impact.
The one I can sort of think of is PSG. Maybe just because they got money, they can offer him something, or maybe he goes back to Portugal, or maybe like Spain, like in the Atletico or a Sevilla. But I mean, I agree. I just think that fact that he has a position, and we don't know the extent of his contract as well. The new one, maybe there's a buyout or some special clause for him.
Maybe.
But I mean, I think it's a position because I honestly wouldn't enjoy playing for Manchester United, even if it is a big club, if we're playing like that.
Like I just think of it, and I just feel like he is a gifted footballer. I don't want. I know that sometimes he gets compared to Odegaard a lot, and I don't even want to entertain that conversation because I think they're completely different footballers, and I do
Yeah.
think Odegaard's better. But I just feel for him sometimes because I'm like, as much as I may not like him, I can't help but feel bad and think like he considers like, am I wasting my talent here? Am I wasting valuable years off of my career at a team that's clearly not going to win a Premier League within the next couple of years and clearly not going to challenge Champions League or anything like that? So is he content with possibly ending up with a couple FA Cups?
I mean, money talks too, Maybe he can stick it out this year and then he can play hardball and be like, I requested trade.
And being at his age, who knows? I mean, if he's extending, he's kind of not saying he's signing away his rest of his career, but he's getting to the point where his prime he's in his prime. He's kind of
This is like almost like this last big contract he can get.
right.
It's now or never, and I don't think they're anywhere near.
Unless he's bought into everything that's going on with the new signings, and he figured, this season's gonna be different, and they're gonna make a push. But
No offense to Tottenham, but when he came on to Manchester United was doing pretty well. I think Tottenham was in that realm during the time that Arsenal was doing not so great. Tottenham was kind of coming up above them for a couple of years, so they were in a decent spot. But now they're going downhill. So did Tottenham, and then Tottenham came back up. They made a comeback, and Manchester United's still kind of in that hole. So, like I said, I just sometimes I get into this. I get this idea in my head where I'm like, has he ever considered the two possibilities of either, is he like, no, I'm a Manchester United, I'm here, I'm gonna be the one to ride this ship back to greatness, or is he just like thinking, well, what other team in the Premier League would I be a starter in? Because I don't think he would start for Arsenal. Would he start at Liverpool over what, McAllister or Soboslai?
I don't think so. And I just see his worth ethic. I don't see him running like you're supposed to do if you wanted to be in Liverpool, like running like that. One thing that really bothers me about him is like he's a big whiner. he's your captain. You're not supposed to act like that, flop like that.
I think that comes more from us not liking United.
I mean, yeah, possibly.
I think we see him in a different light, but no, you're right.
I mean, he is a good player. I give him that, but I just don't see him as a captain type role, like Vidic back in the day, or Rooney, or like a Giggs. I just don't see him having that leadership role.
Yeah.
I think he just got the captain armband, and that's it. I think that's it. Like, you guys, but I don't see him being that motivator. But maybe, like you said, maybe he thinks he can be the that person that can right the ship at Manchester United, and that will be like a big story, a big pat on his back, nice on his resume. Look at what I did. So I am a top quality player. I fixed this sinking ship.
True. Anyway, let's see what Manchester United come up with next weekend.
Hopefully, it's a good show.
We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. Should be fun. All right, so moving on, Chelsea West Ham. We predicted this to be a good game because we expected it to be an even game. I think. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, but
no, I'm on the same boat. I think we all picked. I think West Ham. I believe
we were rooting for West Ham. Yeah.
But
I think that was more of a not wanting Chelsea to be the real deal. I think that we wanted Chelsea to.
I mean, I also rooting for the underdog. You know what I mean?
Right.
West Ham did well in the window, but they can only do so much with the money that they have. So
it's the Goliath versus David versus Goliath. Chelsea's just a huge club that throws money at everywhere. They just got away with the PFF rules or whatever with selling a hotel,
hotels and stuff. Yeah. I think Manchester City's got to learn from them.
I'm sure they have.
But yeah, I don't want to see them click, and now they're starting to click, and they're gonna be some competition.
It's little by little. They still have weaknesses, and sometimes they show that a little too much. But I mean, it is going in their favor more so than against right now. So yeah, I think it's starting to get some traction. I did watch the goals, and man, it was just so they cut right through West Ham. They look like FIFA goals because when you're on FIFA, the goals are just sometimes so easy to score. When you score one, you can score 1-2. You just cut right through teams.
FIFA on pro clubs or FIFA, when I'm playing my season, because those are two different goals.
Yeah.
No, man. I was like, they cut through West Ham so easily. I was just shocked almost, but good on Chelsea, I guess.
I mean, it's that squad they built. I mean,
I want to see them against the top teams and see that.
I mean, they made the one of the worst strikers, in my opinion, in the league. The dude left with 2 goals and an assist. Nicholas Jackson. This is what he needed to get his confidence back.
Like you said, I think they probably got the right coach now. I mean, he is very direct. He's got his team that he wants. Out of all the players, he decided which players he wants to stick with, and I think it's working out for them. I'm not a big Chelsea fan, but it is good to see them somewhat coming back, being a good team, because that makes the league more interesting. Because the top 6 teams are coming back in a way, and I think you need Chelsea to be good. You need Manchester United to be good. You need all these teams to be good to have a nail biting season.
And they're scoring a lot. I think they got the most goals in the.
And Mudryk did not make an appearance in this game. Again, he was mentioned to be because they asked Maresca, and I don't know if it was pre-match interview or post-match, but they asked him about some of the depth and having all these players, and he basically kind of settled it with having 2 players at each attacking position. He put Joao Felix.
And that leaves Mudryk out.
Well, no, he said Mudryk on the left with Mudryk with Neto on the left, I think he said. At number 10, I think he had Joao Felix and Cole Palmer. It was something weird where I wasn't expecting that arrangement, but still he didn't make an appearance. And I know you can only make 5 subs, but if you're trying to rotate your roles, I guess you would expect that, I guess. But
especially if you're up as well, give him a little time on the field to maybe help his confidence a bit. But I mean, I think he even said that that's his problem, is like, I think getting it consistent with Mudryk.
I think I would, if I was a manager, clearly I'm not, but if I was, I would put him in, rotate him in, because Neto's injury history is going to come into play at some point, I think. And if he's out for a few games, and you have a Mudryk coming in all cold and unconfident, that could create a little ripple in the team.
Yeah, he also Neto did come on as a sub. I'm sure they are aware of that and probably taking it lately with as many players as they have.
Wouldn't be surprised if he gave him a contract extension.
10 years. Aston Villa Wolves 3-1. Aston Villa back to their winning ways.
Guess who scored again?
In stoppage time.
Rudon. Yep.
And Ollie
Nice goal,
Watkins
too.
right behind them. Man,
Damn, if these guys can just keep this up, wow, bro, they will just wow.
if they keep it up, they'll be at Arsenal next season. Yeah, so
Go scoring goals with Aston Villa.
Arsenal doesn't even attack. What do they need a goal scorer for?
because we don't have striker. Because we don't have
Well, there
John
you go.
Durant. Yeah, nah, man. I'm honestly jealous of those two players that they have, but at the same time, you got to give Unai Emery credit because that's his work right there. You know.
Yeah, it is.
And I think Duran has a better goal rate. I think he scores like every 30 minutes or something like that. I think he has a better goal rate than Haaland.
Well, he comes in every 10 minutes and he scores.
Yeah,
the game
well, but still, that's all you need him. All he needs is 10 minutes. Boom, and he's there.
It's jealous to see two strikers, both on the same team, both in form. You know, just scoring.
And you end up with Solanke.
Hey, he scored. He's gonna make. Don't worry. He's coming.
Okay.
We're not the ones
He's
worried.
here.
You are.
He's here.
But yeah, good on them. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm getting mad. Fulham, Newcastle. This one was another surprise to me, but Fulham, I've been playing well. Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson again. Did Arsenal miss out on these two players, or was it just the right? It was the right time and right move for both parties.
I think it was just the right time.
I feel like it could have been both.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think they'll still make it on the Arsenal squad, anyways, right? Yeah, and every manager has different forms of playing, and there isn't, one player doesn't fit all. Is a one size fits all type.
Yeah.
Players do better in different systems.
Yeah,
they
true.
bring out the best in them. So that might be what we're seeing right now.
And maybe I think his quality is just a little much more higher in Fulham, so he's going to have a better opportunity to be on the field compared to what he was in Arsenal, which you have higher quality players in your position. Yeah, just maybe sacrificing a little pay for it, but in the long run, what you want to do is you want to play, and that's what he's doing right now.
The football career is about 10 years. And as you know, that goes super quick. So, I mean, Alan probably knows he's 44. So
44 and 2 kids, right?
I'm the youngest one here.
44 and a half.
I'm the youngest one here, and I look the youngest.
Oh, no, I look the youngest.
You can't even tell I've had a baby.
All right. So moving on. Everton Leicester.
Oh, Jesus.
And Everton scores again first.
Disasterclass.
Can't hold a damn lead. Like, what's going on? You're allergic to the lead. It's granted they held it. No,
As long as they could.
They're scoring. They're scoring first. Good on them. But for some reason, I don't know what it is that they're just letting go of the gas, and they're not. Are they getting tired? Is fitness something that should be questioned here?
They can't keep it up.
Is it the quality of the bench? Not. Yeah, exactly. They can't. But what is it? Why? It's the why. And unfortunately, Everton's just got a lot going on for them. They just got bought, so who knows if what they're gonna do with the club and how much they're gonna invest into it. But
but they better hope that club stays in the Premier League, because if not, then that's huge loss.
They might be playing down in the Championship with City, so yeah, they got to be careful.
With Wrexham. Yeah, Everton's got to look themselves in the mirror. Maybe it's something mental or something. They can score, like you said, but it's just the fact that you can't keep a lead. How are you going to win like this? Look at other teams, like a player down, and they were still able to hold the lead or even score a goal. And this team can't do anything. And not to take anything away from Leicester, but really, I think you should have probably been able to got 3 points out of this game.
So this is a fun fact that they mentioned on NBC Sports, that this is the first time in the Premier League history that in match week 5, we have 6 teams yet to register a win.
Yep, I saw that.
Can you guys guess which teams they are without?
2 of them are playing right now.
Southampton.
Yep.
Ipswich.
Ipswich, yeah.
Leicester.
Everton.
Everton.
Two more.
Wolves?
Wolves. One more.
Who's the last one? I gotta look.
Crystal?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh.
Really?
You were looking at the table.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, Leicester. Crystal Palace, that's right. So yeah, so at the very, very bottom of the table, Wolves, they have played 5 games, drawn 1, and lost 4. They have 1 point, and they're tied for 20th or 18th, if you want to call it, with Southampton and Everton, separated only by goal difference, which is -9, -9, and -6, 7.
I wouldn't mention goal difference.
I just all right. I'm getting sad.
Do you
Go ahead.
think, as a Southampton fan or Ipswich fan, maybe not Ipswich, or like a Wolves fan, is it better to see your team get relegated and then see them succeed in the lower league? Or would you rather see them in the Premier League, have your team in the Premier League, but just get
I think it depends.
whooped every week?
Crystal Palace obviously did come up to the Premier League in the recent 2000s, so they probably want to stay. I think that's a team that probably enjoys that. I could say the same with Leicester City. I think they probably want to stay. If you look at a team like Ipswich, obviously this isn't their first time up in the highest division, but I think for a team like Ipswich, maybe Southampton might be better to be just succeeding in the championship. The championship. Everton, however, I don't know. It's tough because they've suffered for so many years.
Yeah, but I think they don't. I think if you're Everton, you still, you'd rather just get beat every week than be in the championship.
But the thing is, the championship is not guaranteed. You're a big
That's what I was
team,
gonna
you got
say.
player on higher wages. You have to, it doesn't make sense in Champions League. You're going to have to sell, and then you're going to have to buy players that are going to be able to accommodate your new salary wages. And that team might not be able to get up to the Premier League.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. Is they're on Premier League money right now? Do you if Everton goes down, as an Everton fan, do you think that you risk you take the risk of going down with the chance of not coming back up?
You're plummeting. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna become Sunderland.
It's going to get to a point where, the name Everton is going to carry a little bit more weight. Young players like, I have a chance to play for Everton, a Premier League proven team that's obviously going to be fighting for a spot to get back, back in it versus.
Oh, let's go to Notts County. Let's go to
Derby
Derby or something like that.
Bristol or
I mean, look how long it
Plymouth.
took. Look how long it took Leeds to come back up.
Yeah, that's true.
And they were up for two seasons, but they struggled. But it took them a long time, and that was a team that was like a pretty solid team in the Premier League when the Premier League first started.
Like, remember Wigan Athletic? Where are they now? They used to be
Blackburn.
a Premier League team. Yeah, Blackburn. All these teams that were like with rich history, champions, and where are they?
It's kind of like Aston Villa when they dropped for a while.
See, it's even if you are a Premier League team, it's hard to get back up. That's you think you can do it, but like basing on the level competition we faced here and down there, it should be easy. But yeah, you'd have to take into account money, the players.
Let's talk about a team that should be in the championship.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the finals again?
Let's go over this. Liverpool 3-0 to Bournemouth at home. Liverpool, obviously, with that little slip up against Nottingham Forest last weekend at home. But they come back to their winning ways. Luis Diaz, 2 goals. Darwin Núñez seals it.
I don't know what to say. Luis Diaz, bro. Alan, give me a little Colombian love here, bro.
Yeah.
He's a man on fire right now.
Dos Colombianos. You got Luis Diaz and John Duran.
Get him a jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Colombians are showing up.
Randy, get him a jersey.
Maybe I think so. Maybe I will.
We're winning the World Cup.
No, you're exaggerating too much. That's like Spurs winning the championship. But still, I think Luis Diaz is just on fire right now. He carried that over from the Copa America into the Premier League. He's been scoring. I believe in every game so far in the Premier League. We just, this is the answer we needed after that, lackluster loss against Brentford at home. This is a good showing, a good way to bounce back, and I'm happy to see Darwin Núñez start. He misses sitters, but he scores bangers.
True.
That was a nice goal. I just hope it builds his confidence, And if we have all our forwards, we had Salah score, Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz. I think we just need Gapco and Jota to score, and then and Chiesa, who just came in. I think if we can get everyone firing on cylinders, we have one of the deadliest attacking, trios or six, whatever, to compete. Our defense is playing well, and Kelleher stepped up for an injured Allison, played well, did some great saves. I just think we're playing well. I mean, yes, it was against Bournemouth. It was just a great showing.
Yeah, best way to come back.
I wouldn't discredit Bournemouth that much. They've
Yeah,
been a decent side.
Yeah, and they did score, but it was just VAR. Anfield isn't looking as strong as it used to be. I think that might have to be to the new coach, because I believe Jurgen always used to he used to interact with the fans, the fist bumps, try to get them riled up, and Slot isn't Jurgen. He's not that same mentality, that same presence. So I feel that might affect to Anfield being no longer be that fortress as it used to be under Jurgen. But I'm just happy we got a win at home, and it's a great showing.
Yeah, man. Arne Slot obviously has a lot to learn from the league. He's got to get used to a lot of different things. The way that the bottom half of the table plays against you, the difference between home and away games, which I know obviously that's something that plays into all leagues, but
Yeah.
obviously the Premier League has something about it that just makes it a little bit more exciting at the moment, because there is that level of defined, like Real Madrid go to a lower bottom half of the table team, and they're most likely going to win. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
There's
just like
not
a little
that
bit
big
of
of a gap
difference.
in the Premier League compared
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
other
yeah.
leagues. The gap
Other
is
leagues,
very
it's night and
small,
day.
and it's a little
Right.
more.
Yeah.
It's a little more. Anyone can win on any given day. It's a little more competitive than what people take credit for. Give the Premier League credit for compared to other
Anyone
leagues.
can lose to Nottingham Forest at any given
Right.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Wait till you face them.
All right. So while we're on the subject, let's move on to
everyone's favorite team. Oh, I thought it was going to be Nutton
Ooh,
Forest.
see, it's your favorite team. I'm gonna get
I
your
thought
jersey,
you thought we were
Randy.
going to Nutton Forest.
No, I'm gonna get your jersey.
Please be Dominic Solanke, because he was an ex-Liverpool fan. I mean, ex-Liverpool player.
And Chelsea.
I wanna get a little bit validated, because in the last episode, I mentioned about these teams trying to get an early goal to try and control the game early. And then, well, how many seconds in did Brentford
It
get
was
one in?
like 23 seconds into the game.
And they did it at the Etihad the weekend before.
Same
Obviously.
exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see
like,
what they do next week.
who do they
Again,
play next
another
week?
one. DJ Khaled.
It's funny because you're like, all right, this has to be the game. We gotta turn it around. And then 23 seconds into it, boom, they score. And my confidence, I was like, this damn team once again. But
FIFA glitch.
But once they scored, we were relentless for the next, for that rest of the half. We were just on them. We didn't let go. This is the kind of football that we've been expecting from the Ange. The Ange ball started clicking. This is what we need to see week in and week out. Not just against Brentford. We got to see it against the bigger teams. We kind of saw it with Newcastle, but we weren't as clinical as we were today. Solanke getting his first goal. It was a tap in. People want to kind of be like, oh, well.
But that builds confidence.
It does. And it was because of that high press being successful. James Madison being able to disrupt that play, get that ball, and he shot it. But guess what? Slanky was in the right place at the right time. And we kind of mentioned that with
But you
Haaland.
can't give him that much credit. Yeah, I was just going to say, you're just hitting on Haaland for doing the
No,
same
that's
thing.
what I'm saying. Like, but we mentioned that it's almost what you do off the ball as well,
Right. No, yeah, of course. I'm just busting your chops.
Don't bust my chops. But that's what I think that's what Ange wanted him for. Like, dude, just be in the space, because the ball's going to come to you one way or the other. It's either going to be a pass or it's going to be a bounce, and it's there for you. So that's what I'm expecting him to score a lot. It's kind of like what he did at Bournemouth.
But do you
he's-
like it though? Do you think you see what the Solanke idea is? Can you
do,
dig that?
and I do, because the last few games, that's what we were missing. He was injured, and that's what we were missing, because we were there was nobody in the box there to receive some of these crosses. You know, a lot of people were giving Brandon Johnson a stick for some reason and saying he wasn't playing up to. He was, you know,
I think it's because Richarlison wasn't on the field. That's why.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
There's always a scapegoat, right? Someone's got to
Yeah.
get blamed when the team's not playing well.
And then his FIFA card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
81.
But Brandon Johnson had been putting crosses in the middle, and people were like, "Oh, who are you passing it to?" Well, the scheme. He's doing what he's told to do, and there should be somebody there receiving those crosses, you know. But no, James Maddison played very well. I mean, very, you know, this performance, like I said, it's very promising. But now, do it against a top team, you know.
Does Bruno Fernandes take over for Madison?
No, I don't think so.
So you think Madison benches Bruno Fernandes?
It depends on which Madison you get.
Formation.
I want a yes or no. Yes or no.
It depends on which Madison you get.
I'm
a manager. I'm fluid.
So you play Manchester United next. Let's say he swaps sides for one game. Does he start or not?
If it's Ange Ball, no. I think Madison. I'm putting Madison in, and I might be biased, but I think
Manchester United fans, you have an open invitation for the next game.
DM me. My name is Patricio. DM me. Oh wait, sorry. I didn't mean to put your last name out there. You can edit
That's
that.
all right. I'll bleep it.
I am Pat.
All right.
Patricio Sound, whatever. But
my name is Randy. DM me all you want.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with 8 A's.
All right. Just curious. He has been playing well, but I know he's not as consistent throughout the entire season. So I was curious.
Madison or
both?
Madison, yeah. No, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. No,
he puts in the shift no matter, even if he's not playing well.
He does.
But I do seem like he sort of quits sometimes. Like, I'm not running for it. You know, I mean, talk about
sometimes
Fernandes.
You feel like he tries to bribe calls. Let me not get into that because, like I said, a lot of it might be just me disliking the team. But with James Maddison, I have been a little bit critical of him because I know what he has done and what he can be, and he just wasn't that until today. Beautiful goal. He commanded that center field. That's what we need. I think this system works really well when that midfield is able. You know, we're able to control that midfield. We're able to recycle those passes. We're able to, you know, that high press is successful. And when, you know, if something does get by them, it's nothing too effective or that the center backs can't control it, right?
Right.
So that's what I saw today. You know, I want to, like, you know, say finally, you know, here we are, but it's not something to
a good
jump
step
around and celebrate, right? It's like, okay, this is what we have to do. We know we can do it. Now let's keep doing it over and over again, and then we can, you know, kind of, you know, pound our chest and be like, we're the best team in the league. But
best league in the championship.
What was that?
Speaking of the best team in the league,
Manchester City.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, us and Manchester City, you know, we're like twins. We let them score in the first, you know, a few seconds, and we come back and win. And we're like 1-1.
I watched this game at home actually. It was such a weird. It was a good game if you just watched the first half.
Yeah.
The second half was the second half was impressive from both sides. I think City's pressure to get that draw, and then Arsenal's defending. But in the first half, obviously rookie mistake. Calafiori starting at left back. I think he's known to be more of a defender, but he's played that left back role. I think that's the kind of player that Arteta likes in those positions. Someone who's flexible, like Ben White, Jurriën Timber, the players that can play both. First time playing the league, Savinho turned them around. Like I said, I think it's just rookie mistake. You're not up to speed right in the first couple minutes.
Especially for a tough game like this, to make you like
that's one of the things that I feel like it's pretty basic. It's like when you have the winger on you, you basically, the thing you want to prevent is not have him turn around. If he's got his back, if he's receiving the ball with his back to you, don't want to let him turn around. And he does it so quick, leaves him behind. Haaland's basically in space. We're wide open, so he gets that first goal and his 153rd goal of the season.
Right through the defense.
Yeah. Yes, we were like I said, we had the ball, we lost the possession,
Yeah.
and they turned it around quick. It's basically like a counterattack.
Right.
Because like I said, Arsenal didn't go there for a draw. I think last season at the Etihad, it was almost like a chess match. It was like who's gonna make the first mistake. I think obviously both teams were. I think at that point we were like 3 points apart. So it was basically who drops the ball, and I think both teams were. As much as City want to say that we went there to play for a draw, I think it was just strategic from both teams to basically not lose. And this one it was different. I mean, 2-2 at the 2-2 at the end of the game, but it was 2-1 Arsenal on top away at the Etihad. Once again, I'll speak to the double yellow for Leandro Trossard. He does kick the ball away. I did not hear the whistle on TV. I can't speak for in the stadium. I heard that it was obviously very loud, but he kicks the ball because he was passing it to Martinelli. He didn't think it was a foul. The ref doesn't blow the whistle for a foul until very late. So Trossard he's going for it. We were trying to break away. Yeah, and he kicks the ball towards Martinelli, and the ref pulls out the second yellow. First yellow was just for a tactical foul. But yeah, Doku just 20 minutes before that 45 or 53rd minute kicks the ball away during an Arsenal free kick, which is the same thing that you could say was happening at the Brighton game where Rice got sent off for the exact same thing. No card. Bernardo Silva did the same thing. Not to waste time, but he did have anger. But the letter of the law is if you kick the ball away, you're time wasting and it's a yellow card. Neither receives a yellow card, and somehow Trossard gets one at the very end when he was not given a whistle for the foul, which would later on was explained that he wasn't carded for the foul. He was carded for kicking the ball away. It's just so inconsistent. It just makes your blood boil because you're like, these are the games that count at the
My blood is fine. My blood's fine. How about yours, Alan?
No,
Is yours-
it's like I said, I despise Arsenal and their fans. But it's true. I mean, you're clearly seeing the inconsistency, and that's something that's it's too apparent.
it doesn't serve them any favors with what's currently going on with Manchester City and their 115 charges. To them have a game like this, it's just probably one of the biggest games of the season, considering that it's so early on following last season. Not to say that there aren't any other title contenders at the moment. Just saying, just the way that last season finished, and this one being so early on, this has to be at the moment one of the biggest games of the season so far. And to have such controversial actions happening while all this stuff is going on with 115 charges, it's like you're asking to put an even higher highlight on what's going on. With that, it's very apparent no one's very happy with the refereeing across all games. Yeah, and in the end, like I said, we were 2-1 up, 2-1 up at the Etihad at the half. We really didn't have any options but to defend. We didn't have Odegaard. We had to rotate players. We had a midday week Champions League away at 3 games in 1 week, all 3 away, one to our rivals Tottenham and the other one away to Italy in the Champions League. So we were shorthanded. And we didn't really have an option but to rely on our best attribute, which is defending. But
I feel like, so if you had Odegaard and Rice on the field for both these games for Tottenham and Man City, what does the game plan look like?
Yeah,
I feel like it's still defending. I still feel like it's yeah. Because I do think that this game plan was gonna be like this, especially if you're having Cal Fleury, like you said, he's a defender, on those wings. On the wing back position, I feel like it was like, all right, we're gonna stand our ground. If we get one, we'll get one, and that's that's kind of what happened in the Tottenham game. But I mean, like I said, you didn't have Odegaard or Rice, so who knows?
I just think, listen, I think that we need to kind of get away from this thing that the correct way to play is the way that Manchester City play, which is holding possession, right?
Right.
That's not the correct way to play. It's just a style of play to play. And obviously there's a big weakness to that is that you can catch teams on the counter super easily. The teams at the lower half of the table will not always succeed with that because the quality of level of players may not be to the equivalent, right? So I do think that every season, like Pep has said, every season he tries to change something because the team will try to catch on to what you're doing. So you want to change something. And I think Arsenal having one of the best defenses, I think they will rely on that more because the more pressure you apply, and you can see in the Tottenham games, sometimes you don't give the opponent any option but to sit back. So how do we create chances when everything's so closed off? You let the opponent have the ball a little bit, and I think he's relying a little less on the possession game this season. But at the same time, like I said, we have no realistic backup for Odegaard, and he orchestrates. This is the reason why he's our best player and probably one of the best players in the league at the moment in that position, because he orchestrates all of Arsenal's attacks. And now we can see how fundamental he is, because without him, it's really hard to get that same style going. You know what I mean?
Do you think Marino would have been a good replacement for him if he didn't get injured to keep at least Arsenal playing the way they want to play?
I think it's possible. I think we might have had a little bit more possession because Declan Rice is a good tackler of the ball. He's a good carrier of the ball, but he doesn't have that like Jorginho kind of thing where he can keep the ball and spray it around. Marino probably does. But yeah, we were lacking another person. Jorginho obviously doesn't have the physicality to play every single game as important as we did. Yeah, I think we're just clearly missing. It's affecting us greatly, but we can at least rely on our best attribute, which is defending. I think looking from the beginning of the game, considering we were winning, and the first goal that we did score, we weren't going to sit back the entire time, but at the second half, we had no other option.
Well, now at least we can at least thank you that at least Rodri is out for the season.
Yeah,
That's the only That's the only
You're
upside.
welcome.
Whenever there's a no contact injury, like same thing in the NFL. When there's a no contact, you just see a player fall.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed that they're out for a significant amount of time because it's something ruptured or something gave out.
I was going to ask you guys because I know Rodri didn't start the first couple games of the season. It was Kovacic. And I know when Rodri first went down, I thought to myself, if they put in Kovacic, I don't think they're going to miss a beat because he's been playing the season so far. Since he was rested, I don't know if he was rested because he was with Spain, basically playing every single game for the Euros, or do you think this was something that he was carrying into the season?
To be honest, I think everyone is injured in some way. No one is 100% fully fit.
It's been a lot
running,
of games.
sprinting, doing all these lunges, everything.
I mean, he did play every single game for Spain.
And that was it was rough on the body, not enough time to recuperate. And then you have the international break, which he probably played as well. And then he even mentioned, along with Allison, about how many more games are adding to the season.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And he mentioned that people are going to get injured. And what happened? No contact play, got injured. It's just there's so much that a body can take, even if you are in physical peak condition.
Like me, yeah, I know.
Exactly. You can step on the grass wrong, twist your ankle, and that can just, go up all the way to your leg, and, something can happen. And
burp and fart at the same time and throw out your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Been there, yeah.
Yeah, they might go on strike, and if they go on strike, we might have to lace up, boys.
Yeah,
we might have to see each other on the field, on the pitch, for real.
How many good minutes can you give?
Listen, if they go on strike, we'll play whatever match week we're missing. We'll play it on FIFA.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll stream it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Sounds good.
All right.
We'll make on Premier League on
FC24 because 25 is a little expensive. So
yeah. If you guys, start get our Patreon going, maybe we'll get 25.
Randy's OnlyFans, only feet.
Oh, I just painted my nails.
But at the end of the day, I know we conceded at the last minute and City celebrated. I was gonna say City celebrating a draw at home against a 10-man Arsenal. And where's the celebration police now? We were winning games left and right last season, and everyone's like, oh, are they celebrating? They haven't won anything. What does City get out of this? They look like fools, and they obviously rattled after all the comments that they made after complaining about the refereeing, which was clearly on their side, complaining about this and that, and Arsenal's tactics and all this and that. Like, bro, stop crying. You clearly were bested, and you look, and they want to complain because they didn't get their way.
I will say, though, it's if you're behind and you're going against a 10-man team, I personally believe it's a lot harder to score because if that team that's down a player
but up a goal,
they're gonna create a fortress around that box, and you saw that how
as they should. Yeah, as they
Yeah,
should.
but
Yeah.
so people make it seem like, oh, you can't even score on a 10-man team. I think it's harder to do that because especially when when you're behind, I think it's a lot. It's who am I to say? But I personally think from seeing it that it's a lot harder to score on a 10-man team when you're behind.
And you can't have everyone up front as well.
Yeah, if Arsenal was behind, right, and Man City was in the lead, and they had scoring with 10 men, that's different. That you have to tip your hat off to. Like, okay, you did it. Same thing with scoring on a 10-man team that has the lead. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, those two things are very difficult to do.
No, it is. I'm not.
But once with if you're the team with the lead, you got the upper hand. In either situation. But not saying that's a reason to like explode the way they do and throw a ball at.
Yeah, exactly.
They
were acting like they won the title.
So
like they acting like they won the title.
But don't you think that's a card offense?
I just think, yeah, exactly. That's the way I'm gonna say. I don't think it was professional. I think it was childish and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, there has to be a little bit of banter in football, right? And I think Gabby took it well. I think he said, he's like, I don't really care what he did. He's like, we'll wait for them at the Emirates. Like, don't let it get to. You can tell that they're not.
It's mind games.
They're not letting it get to their heads. Yeah, it's mind games, and I don't think it worked. But at the end of the day, I think it did work on City because they had all these comments to say, the most favored team in the league, with all these charges. I'm not going to say, all these pending charges and all this other stuff, and they're gonna come, allegations, and they're gonna like complain, like, please, you're clearly bothered by the result because you thought that we were just gonna sit back and take it. Sorry, not this season.
It's gonna be funny when Spurs win the league and City and Arsenal are second and third. I just can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh, you've been playing FIFA too much.
We're gonna quietly win the league this year. We're like, whoa, what's this? First place? That's crazy.
You're still intense.
And then Arsenal will still be playing defense in the middle of June for some reason. What are you guys doing back there? I don't know. Playing defense.
It's a quick question, just to keep it quick. Does this who do you think gets the biggest point out of this?
I honestly would have to say Arsenal because you're playing away against the reigning champions.
Okay.
And those were your rivals last season. It was between you and them.
I think it's the rest of the league. It's an opportunity for us,
True.
Teams that had the rougher start to kind of catch up.
What do you mean us? Liverpool, most likely.
Okay.
I don't know about your team.
So what you're saying is not necessarily a bigger point for Arsenal, but this counts as a loss for City because it's kind of shattered their like...
I think it's a loss for both as well.
No,
Arsenal should have been able to win it having the lead. That would have been great for them. That just means you just can't get over that hump of beating
But we were
Manchester
a man down.
City. But still, you had the lead. You should have held off.
Down,
you tried to hold it off, and you did the best you could. It was just the last second goal. I feel like that's a loss as well because you need to get a win over Manchester City because that could have gave you the the momentum. Then you would have like Manchester City's number next game because you won at home, and then you're coming to play at our home at the Emirates. That gives you a little more fire. Literally gives you a little more a little more bragging rights.
These 3 points are crucial for both teams, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the fact that each team only came with 1 point, like I said, I think the rest of the league benefited from that because
no one takes the lead from now on.
Exactly. It's kind of like it makes our next game against Arsenal that more important, and it makes our 2 matches against Man City that more important because we have to capitalize on this that no team took those 3 points. So now let's do our part.
Okay.
And this is what I hate, this is what I love about this league and I hate about this league is that you really do depend on other people's, especially unless you're like a best team in the league, Man City did it a few times where it's like, no one's reaching them. Sometimes you do need that little help from other teams to beat other teams and to draw against other teams. And this is what we needed.
Yeah, I wonder what that's like, relying on another team.
Did you see that interview with Son? He's like, I don't miss. Well, clearly he does. But yeah, no, in that exact moment, that exact point, we're benefiting from this. Liverpool probably the most of and if anybody, what are they sitting on top or second right now?
We're in second by 1 point. Yeah, I think it really benefited Liverpool, it helped us because it's harder to catch up when it's like 4 points or 3 points. If it's a 1 point, it's we're still there.
I think this is the best outcome that could have happened.
What happens if this is the game you needed to win the league? It's just
Yeah,
like that.
I honestly,
Like you mentioned before, like the games that we should have won is
well,
is
that's the
what
thing. That's why these referee inconsistencies are so crazy. Because I know we didn't the Brighton game and we didn't win this City game, but you can't help but think would they have been different if these situations with the double yellows, which oddly enough were the only team to have suffered from this twice. So it's just like I said, it's I don't want to say there's like an agenda or anything like that, but I'm like
conspiracy.
yeah, I'm not gonna say that there's anything like that, but I'm just gonna say obviously there is definitely is inconsistencies, and it's cost us twice already this season. Well, we could probably be sitting first if we had won. If we had won either of these games without one or the other of the red card, we could be sitting first right now. So
It was
that's
just
where
like
it comes in. Yeah,
everybody was talking about VAR being a decision maker. Now it's
yeah.
refereeing that seems that is becoming more of the issue now.
Right, it's shown a light onto, I guess, the deficiencies of the human eye.
But I mean, it's either you fix the VAR, or you solely rely on the referee. You don't.
Yeah,
The thing is, nothing is ever going to be 100%.
right.
Yeah.
But you want to get as close as possible. But
Yeah.
what I was going to
Right.
say is, so the reason why VAR hasn't intervened in those two, and it hasn't probably in many other games, is because they can only intervene in a red card situation. Do you guys think that VAR should be allowed to intervene when it involves the second yellow? The thing is that yellow cards are a lot more opinion based than they are. A red card is a red card almost by the letter of the law, right?
Like a scissor slide tackle or going with a high foot, your
Well,
studs
Yeah,
out.
on a goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I
hold
think
on. Let me get the violin audio.
No. Next subject. No subject.
I think if you're gonna, if a yellow should be yellow, it shouldn't matter if it's a first yellow or second yellow. So whatever you do with that yellow, it's yellow. That
No.
second yellow shouldn't be more emphasized than the first yellow.
Yeah,
think,
I agree. It should just stand with the red card.
I think it's funny how we're talking about trying to collect as many points when we're only 5 games into the season.
Yeah.
And we're a long way from May, but that just goes to show how close those title races have been in the last 2 seasons. That you're counting them already. You're counting the points. And
because I mean, how many? What was it? Last season was I think 2 points. The seasons
points,
when
yeah.
it was Liverpool and Manchester City, it was just
One
a point off.
One came out to 1 point. Yeah.
Both of them, I believe, came to 1 point. But those the things. That is why we're like so nitpicking these games. They were, like you said, we're just 5 games in.
And like in 2015, when we were in like 3rd place, we almost won the league that year.
But
Anyways.
now you realize like how important every game is. You need,
especially if you're Arsenal. I know you're counting every. You probably scratching into your wall right now.
Absolutely.
It's like a JSON, like a calendar, like every tally.
I'm checking every day to make sure it's staying the same. I'm like, I don't want anyone getting a sneaky point here
Everton, 10-point deduction out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. Let's move into next week's games. So first one Saturday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Newcastle against Manchester City. All right. So what are we guessing for this one? Just Man City taking this. I say 3-1 City.
I think it might be a 2-1.
I think Manchester.
2-1
I mean,
City.
Newcastle could be competitive, but
they can be.
You never know with them, but I feel like it's going to be Manchester City all day. I can see it being like 3-1.
All right. So after that game, 10 a.m. Arsenal back at home finally against Leicester City. Let's hope no weird double yellows.
You'll get direct red.
God.
Direct red.
You want some cheese with that wine?
I think Arsenal should come out on top this one. Leicester City obviously get to register.
Don't count out Vardy. He loves messing with you guys.
Man. He does. He's got a couple on us. So, but I still think Arsenal at home. Obviously, they'll be kind of like fuming from that City game. I think they'll want to go all out for this one. no Leandro Trossard with the red card. So we'll see what the. I think we might finally see a Sterling. Arsenal does play tomorrow for the League Cup, so I think we might see some rotation for that one, and I could see Sterling starting tomorrow and then getting some minutes against Leicester as well. But should be a good one. All right, 12:30 lunch game. Liverpool away to Wolves. Is Wolves one of the teams yet to register a win as well? Yeah, they are. Bottom of the
and they're
table,
still
actually.
gonna stay without. They're still gonna stay winless.
This is what you said, guaranteed win against Nottingham Forest, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Don't make me pull
things
out the
have
audio.
I don't care. You can use all the proof you want. Wolves are gonna lose to Liverpool.
All right.
You skip Forest. Forest is still undefeated, so I think they
Forest
get their.
is undefeated, yeah.
And Forest
True.
against Fulham should be a good game too.
It
I think
should be.
Fulham is gonna. It's at
Not in the Forest.
Yeah, I still think Fulham. I think Fulham would have beat them if they were at the Cottage, but I think they'll still beat them.
Yeah,
Maybe a
this is my
highlight
vote
game.
for highlight game. Manchester United at home. Bruno Fernandes staking his claim, saying he's not going to Spurs, even though he would start there.
We don't want him. Little elf.
If Manchester United wins, I will get a Manchester United fan on the podcast. How does that sound?
Why now?
Just
Are you
wait.
scared?
Maybe he wants. Maybe he has an intro ready for this.
Do you think?
Gosh.
No. Only intros, only for the rivalries between us. Fair?
Fair.
Okay.
But you got to be fair because you're the one who makes them. You got to make it good for everyone, not just for you.
So, Alan, give me some quotable bits.
Think about it, real good.
Your club is dirty. Your club is trash. Your club is old. You're not gonna make it out here. No, just kidding.
I think we just play that Peter Drury clip where he's like, "The stars are old, the gyms are old, the cooks are old. Welcome to Old Trafford." All right, so Alan, who takes?
I think we keep going. We built up momentum. We know we lost. I mean, we've won our last 2 games. I think we're showing what we can do, and I think we're gonna overwhelm Man United at Old Trafford.
I think you will. You will overwhelm. I agree. I think that's the way it's gonna go. But don't forget to wear your wet shoes.
Oh yeah, it's gonna flood.
Bring your umbrella, Ella. But I don't know. I feel like this could be a draw, or you never know what Man U can show up.
Yeah,
I feel like they would probably win against. They could win against Spurs and then lose to Ipswich. That's how inconsistent they are.
So all right, first let's lock in the highlight game. So it's Manchester United at home to Spurs, Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
All
right, let's lock it in. So let's start, Alan. Do you want to start with the prediction?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the score
for the Man United Spurs at Old Trafford? Is going to be 3-1 Spurs with a victory.
Okay.
It's going to be 3-1, but the scoreline is going to be a tough 3-1. I think we're gonna work for that for those 3 goals. I think Man United might look a little good. You know, they're playing at home, so I feel like they'll bring it. But I think we will score those 3. They're not gonna be easy. They're gonna get one on us. They might get their first goal on us, but we're the real deal.
Randy?
I already mentioned mine. I said 2-1. I believe Manchester United will show up. They tend to show up against certain teams, and I feel like they'll show up against Spurs. 2-1, Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho. I just feel they will somehow pull out the victory at home against Spurs.
All right, I'm actually gonna go. Damn, I was gonna say Spurs will win, but now I'm like thinking a draw, maybe.
You will draw that victory on a piece of paper.
Screw it. I'm gonna go.
What does your heart say? Spurs are gonna lose.
You know what? I'm gonna go 2-0 to Spurs.
Oh, shutouts.
That's a good one.
I think Spurs are going to do their thing there, and Manchester United are going to have a couple chances on the counter, but they're just not going to be able to put it away. So when it's 2-0.
I was just going to say one last thing. I think as much as I talk crap. No, I do talk a lot of crap about United. I think we've had a very similar, especially with the new coaching. I think I don't want to say similar trajectories or we have similar paths, but I think this game kind of will say, okay, look, this project is working and this one isn't.
All right. Liverpool away to Wolves. Randy, what's your score?
We're fire right now. I believe could be 2-0. I just don't see Wolves being able to get through our defense. Our midfield is on point, and our forwards are. I think Diaz is going to score another goal. The only thing would be we have Callagher is going to be our starting goalkeeper, but have faith in him. He's one of the best backups we have.
Yeah,
we
he's
should
good.
be fine. Yeah, I believe it should be 2-0.
All right, 2-0 to the Liverpool away to Wolves. And then Arsenal Leicester. I'm going to go with 3-0 to Arsenal at home over Leicester.
I see it happening. I see it very possible.
Gabby gets another header. Yeah, two reds for Arsenal. So get the win. But yeah, I'm going to go
1-1. Vardy
Really?
No, just kidding. I
I don't know.
wish.
I feel like Vardy might score. I feel like that's just like
I could see it, but
I
that's
don't
even if
know.
he plays.
I don't
He's
know.
an old dude, man.
Yeah,
Red Bull. Red Bull's one hell of a drug, bro.
He's probably doing cocaine.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He
Dude, that
laces his
Maradona.
Red Bull with Coke.
We good? Are we ready to close it out?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. This was episode 10. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Follow us on IG, Rivals on the Pitch. And for any Manchester United fans, please, please, please come join us, defend yourself, or jump on the bandwagon with us. We'd love to hear from you. That's it. I'm Randy.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Alan.
Bye.
Damn, I forgot the damn podcast name again.
I know.
I know.
You want me
You
to
just
write it
go.
down?
All right, one more time. Ready?